Hello, my name is Brooke Shaden, and today we're talking about 10 easy ways to find inspiration. Over the last decade, I've been a photographer and several other artisty things, and in that time, I've had to learn how to hone inspiration in a way that makes it accessible and allows for open and flourishing creativity, and that's what I try to do every single day. So I thought, why not put that into a video and talk about how we can find inspiration on a daily basis in really easy, streamlined ways. The first one is one that I've talked about so many times, but it has to be said. Start with theme. Start with theme. The big ideas that you always come back to time and time again. So theme could be any sort of word that has extra meaning weighted to it, things that summarize a way that you feel or a concept that you're interested in. So for example, my favorite themes are rebirth, death versus life. Yours might be more modern perhaps, and maybe your themes are modern politics or whatever it may be. So I suggest writing down your themes and coming up with anywhere from 3 to 5, maybe even 10 themes that you just love to explore, like things that pique your curiosity, that you would be really inspired to create art around. And keep those in your back pocket, or more literally, keep them somewhere accessible. So paste them to your computer, like on a sticky note, or put them somewhere where you're going to see them frequently so that you can constantly be reminded of what you love. It sounds weird, right? Like to be reminded of what you love, but we forget. It's hard to go back to those core values that we have. So write down your 5 words that are themes that you could create around again and again and again and always be inspired by. Number 2 is to write down 3 categories surrounding how you create. So I'm a photographer, and that means that I might write down location, wardrobe, and color. And it could be anything like time of day or time period, or even down to equipment, like what you like to create with. And once you've chosen your 3 categories, write down one totally random word, like first thing that pops into your head, 1 word for each category. So if I did location, maybe my location is desert. If I did color, maybe it's gray. And if I did wardrobe, maybe it's a hat. Oh man, I don't like hats, but whatever, I said it. So a hat and gray and desert. And so what would you do? Like, what would you create around those 3 things? And it's really, really nice to challenge yourself and to just start to get into the habit of doing things that are unexpected but come from a place deep inside you. Those were the first 3 things that I said. So why not create something around those things? Number 3 is to embrace the element of surprise. So for example, you might do something like go out to your bookshelf and pick up a book and go to page 5, line 3 and see what it says. And if you do that, please share in the comments what you got. And just see, like, what in the world could you be inspired by? Because surprising ourselves is a great way of getting us out of the normal habits that we fall into. And creativity and inspiration is totally something that we fall into habits with. It doesn't seem like it because inspiration is like this lightning bolt of amazingness and creativity is acting on that inspiration, but we fall into terrible creative ruts where either we can't find ideas or we just do the same thing over and over again. So see what you find, see what you can surprise yourself with. Okay, the only book that I have here is this book about trees. Let's just do it. Okay, so should it be page 5 after the foreword? Yeah, after the foreword. Nope, there's an introduction and another introduction. Okay. So page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3rd sentence. It says, you can check this out for yourself simply by looking into the forest canopy. I like that. I mean, there's something to be done with just the words forest canopy. It says looking up into the forest canopy. Who knows? Oh, but the next sentence says the average tree grows its branches out until it encounters the branch tips of a neighboring tree of the same height. See, there's so much here that we could create with, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry, I'm on a tangent, but just let me have it. So I highlighted this page from this book, and it says, such partners, referring to trees who grow together, are often so tightly connected at the roots that sometimes they even die together. I mean, come on, if you can't find inspiration around that, it's amazing. Number 4 is to see old objects in new ways. So try walking around your house, wherever you live, wherever you work, and just take a look at the everyday objects that you see time and time again. So like right now, I can see a scarf. And maybe I would, normally use that scarf to keep warm or tie in my hair or something, but why not use it for something else? So maybe it could be a blindfold, or maybe it could be like something to tie my hands together in a photo. And I encourage you to do this yourself. So just go around, pick out everyday objects that you would normally look right past and see what you can make out of them. I've done this before with like the rim of a coffee mug to be a hole in the ground. I've done this with a toolbox to look like the edge of a cliff. A cardboard box could be a room, a lamp could be a light source, for example. It doesn't have to be in an image or in your creation at all. It could just be something that aids you in your creation. Number 5 is color blocking. So what I mean by this is think of a color that you would love to create around, and then see how many things of that same color you can get into the frame. So like maybe you, this would be an extreme example, but maybe you paint a room a certain color, like say red, and then you get a chair to put in that room and you paint that chair red, and then you wear a red outfit, and it's just like you bring as many things in as you can. And that's a great way of sort of forcing your brain down a very specific path, but it's also something that we don't really do very often. So see how far you can push that color blocking. Number 6 is free writing. When I talk about free writing, what I really mean is to put your hand down on the page. Don't stop writing for 5 minutes straight. So just keep writing, no matter what. See what comes of it, because often that's going to dig deeper and deeper into your psyche, and you're going to bring out things that you may not have expected. Often when I do this, I just start writing stories. Like my brain doesn't really do well with journaling from a very personal standpoint. I've never been able to get into that, but stories I love, and I often will just start writing a whole story down, which is great for finding inspiration. Number 7 is to change the way that you work, change your medium. So if you're a photographer normally, pick up a paintbrush or try sculpting, or do anything that's a little bit outside of your wheelhouse, because you might find that your brain gets unlocked by trying something totally different. You might also find a new way of working or something that you can incorporate into your normal medium, and that's incredible. So I highly, highly recommend this. I started sculpting a year ago. It was amazing for me. I love sculpture now, and I'm even working on incorporating clay and sculpture into my photography. Number 8 is to write down one sentence that epitomizes what you want to create. So like just one really poignant sentence that says like your core goal of creating. What is it? Like, what do you want to make? What is the most important thing to you to put out there? So come up with your one sentence, your very core sentence, and then make something that reflects that. Number 9 is to work in a blank space. So find a space like a white wall, or hang a bed sheet on a wall or something like that. And if you're not a visual artist like that, then go ahead and just like sit in a quiet room and just look at a blank piece of paper. Honestly, it's one of the best things that we can do for our creativity, to sort of shut out the input that we're constantly getting of all the things and colors and light, and just to sit quietly by yourself and create in that space of pure introspection. And then finally, I thought that I would, for number 10, give you something concrete if you wanted to go out and like get something that you can just be inspired by. So I've got this really cool, it's like a story kit that my friend Jade introduced me to years ago. It's called Story World, and it says on the back, it has 28 story cards, and basically it just gives you prompts of like characters, places, just like all sorts of story related things, with really inspiring illustrations on it. And this might help you to come up with ideas when you're feeling a little bit stuck. It's really, really fun to try. And so like this is the Fairy Magic book. And let's just like, here's one. I love, so cute. So this one is the Midnight Mushrooms. And on the back it says, the Midnight Mushrooms, houses of the smallest fairy folk. What happens to the mushrooms at midnight? What has made the fairy drop her things? What special powers do the mushrooms have? So that's like a really cutesy one. Some of them are darker and they're all different themes. So this is the fairy one. There's like a Halloween one, all sorts of stuff. It's really, really fun. And then another one is this one called The Hollow Woods that I recently found. It's just another storytelling card game. And it's just really similar. A little bit, this one's darker than the other one. It has all these cards. And so you pick a random card and just sort of like look at the imagery that it conjures up. So there's that one. It's really, really interesting. There's like a little girl in a forest with lots of vines that look like they're coming alive. Yeah, I love them. So those are a couple of concrete things that we can purchase or even create for yourself if it's something that you think you might want to do. So that's it, 10 ways to be inspired. If this was helpful to you or you enjoyed it in any way, please consider subscribing or passing this on to your friends. That's how I can keep making more of them. Thanks guys, bye.